Conversations on Off the Record podcast are strictly social. They should not be reported on as facts or as news stories. They're simply perspectives of persons who are sharing their experiences as they remember it. These are their stories. Welcome to Off the Record, where we meet and speak with your public figures, people that you look up to, and get to know them in a different light. Today we have with us entrepreneur, girl's girl, marketer, event planner, event promoter. I don't know what else I'm missing, but the one and only Karen Veira. Welcome, Karen.
Hi, what's up?
I was asking Karen off air. I do not know what it is you put in people drinks or what, but girls just love.
Oh, I just spread love, you know. That's all I do. Spread love.
Suspicious. Like when you call it the cabins, you just shoot love out of your chest and then everybody just receive you.
Absolutely.
I find it suspicious, but I won't go there.
Energy is reciprocal, you know. If I give it, I'm going to get it, and that's what it is.
So, of all the hats that you wear, where do you think that you began?
Oh boy. I began in high school, if I was to trace it back. In secondary school, we had young leaders. And so I think that's where it kind of stemmed from doing car washes and teen hops and pageants.
Teen hops? What years, can I ask what year is that?
Asking me what year is the closest thing you're going to ask. How old are you?
It's a range. It's a range. It could be between these 5 years.
If I say what year I went into high school.
No. What year were the teen bops? What year? I will just give 1 year.
Oh boy. You know what? It was, I graduated high school in 2003. So
okay. See, that's not crazy.
It is crazy.
Because I was thinking like 1979, 1980.
I am not, oh my gosh, Ari.
That's how men get hit.
That is absolutely. I'm block you when I leave here. Doop.
Oh, that's crazy. Just so
yes.
That's crazy. Poor me. But yes, so you did the team bobs, the car washes, and all these things, and then you graduated, and you continued.
We continued in college. I mean, doing the same kind of thing. And then I went to university to UE.
Which one?
Cave Hill.
Oh, yeah. That's something in common with the cameraman.
Yeah, I went to Cave Hill. And then I was a part of the International Affairs Committee. And they were responsible for doing like a major show on campus at the time. The show we did that year was with Marshall. And I mean, back in those days, he was still a big deal. You know, so it was big for us to manage that type of organization and that type of production. And then when I came back to St. Vincent, me and Skinny started our own thing.
Okay, and that was?
Uncle Skinny and Black Rave were the first ones we did. Okay. We did that for a few years.
Oh, you started big.
Yeah, and it was only this year that I realized that Skinny and I were really two kids at 25 and saying, oh, let's do these things.
Yeah, because
not realizing we were playing in the big leagues.
Black Rave was never small.
Yeah.
It was never small.
Correct.
What year did Black Rave start?
2011, I think.
Okay. Because I remember one Black Rave that I went to, but I think it was 2015. Yes, it's 2015, 2016. I never forget it because it's the first time that I had Aka's sushi.
Okay.
That was 2016?
Yeah, it was not 15 for sure, because 15 I was very pregnant.
Oh.
So it wasn't 15, so it probably was 2016.
So you're supposed to be Superwoman, you're supposed to be pregnant and catching buses.
I went to the show, you know, They rolled me up on the stage, waddling.
So that is Black Rave, that is Uncle Skinny.
Yes.
And you decided, okay, we could do more than this.
Yeah, but I did Climax 2 in 2011 or 2012.
Climax started in 2011. Wow.
Or 2012, yeah. Climax started small. We started 600 people. The DJ booth was on Hiron crates. If you see a picture right now of what Climax started and where it is now, like even to me as the promoter, the growth of that event is just crazy.
So what motivated you to start Climax?
I don't know. Climax was one of my business partners, Nick, said to me, "Oh, let's do a cooler fete in St. Vincent." And because I was already doing Uncle Skinny and Kids and Black Rave, I kind of had the expertise and the knowledge, and so we kind of just took that and put it into that one and built on that.
Okay, all right, and then what? Like Climax is Climax. Climax is a special event.
Yeah.
So what do you think made it such a unique event and made it as successful as it is today?
When it came on stream, it was the only one of its kind, which is a cooler fete. And when it just started out, it was a big deal for people to have the display of drinks around the cooler. So, you know, how many Hennessy, how many bottles of champagne, how many Ciroc. Like, it was a big deal. And then it kind of started to, when we had to move towards the no bottles and then people had to pour out the liquor, it kind of tapered down from the bragging and the display and more of just the enjoyment. So I think that's where we are now. It's just the enjoyment of the event. You bring your own liquor, you come into the party and you have a good time.
Really, for me, a Patreon. For me, it is, I remember Climax being that, what you said. You come, you could show your drinks.
Yeah.
You're there, you don't have to be going back and forth at the bar besides getting ice. And you just there all night and you have your drinks, so you get in there.
Yeah.
And you're going to enjoy yourself. And then it just, out of nowhere, turned into this big fashion show.
Yeah.
Where it was like, okay, at Waraku, most times it rained. And there's a famous hill.
Yeah, that people roll down.
Listen, if you go to Climax, you have to roll down that hill at some point. So it always surprises me when I see people like in their best.
Yeah.
Just into the Climax.
But you know what it is too, is people have gotten to the point where when they go out and when they spend their money to go, they want to look good and feel good. So I like that people dress up to come to the parties.
Okay. Wow. And why New Year's?
Because it doesn't change. So it could be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's New Year's Day. So it's easy to remember. So it takes away from the advertising, right?
Yes. And then, so that's 2011. That was Climax. And then you moved to...
Oh, what did I move to? I don't know. So those are the three biggest ones. We do Secret Garden, which is Boxing Day. And again, it's an easy sell because the day doesn't change.
When did Secret Garden start?
It started in 2021.
Okay.
I think it was that year after COVID, like when we were just about to come out of COVID, but you had to be vaccinated to party. That's when we did the first one.
Okay. So I remember Climax has been the most consistent. Black Rave stopped in what year?
2021.
Oh, Black Rave went straight up to, well, if it's 2021.
There was one after COVID, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay, so those were the parties then up until Secret Garden. So what made you want to do Secret Garden?
That one I was approached by Luther and Simone. Luther and his wife Simone. To be honest, I didn't want any more events on my roster. I was kind of tired of doing it and I feel like I'm getting too old. But when they approached me, the idea was to do a vaccinated party. And I thought that was pretty cool. And it was an easy sell. And we knew this is what I think every promoter would love to know. How many people actually come into the party before you even open the gate? So you had to buy a ticket. You had to submit your request to come. You know, so that for me was really great. But then the party turned out to be so good and so enjoyable and another fashion show for people.
And I enjoyed seeing it.
That, you know, we kept it going.
So I remember I wasn't in St. Vincent for Secret Garden. So all I was saying is, okay, there's a vaccinated party, and it was one of two or three, I think, popped up. And a lot of people are having fun at Secret Garden. And Secret Garden still today is a brand by itself, as most of your events are. And I think I remember people were getting sick after it again. And but it wasn't the only party.
No, but even that Christmas, I remember Heritage Square being ram-packed of people. And I remember taking a picture of it and posting it on my Instagram and saying, and I bet they're going to blame the parties at the end of the season, you know? But, I mean, the sickness was just the sickness. Even now, we having carnival still, and then people getting COVID afterwards. Everybody came back from Grenada sick. You know, so...
Went to Grenada?
No, I wish I went to Grenada.
To come
I love
sick?
Grenada. Yeah, nobody got sick. I booked a ticket. I was like, I'm gonna go. And then I woke up Saturday morning sick. Like, I'm like, why would the universe do this to me? I just want to play job.
I just remembered. You also are a chaperone for Miss SVG?
I kind of was. I don't know. I got kind of thrown into that.
Is it one person?
But the human being who I got thrown with, I love her so much. She's the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how was your Miss SVG experience?
As in a contestant.
You went in for Miss SVG?
Oh, you didn't know? I thought that's what you were.
I did not ever know that. What year was that? What year was that? Nope. Now we find out. Now we find out. And we go in. Nope. What year was that?
I am first runner-up 2006.
Okay, how was that experience?
It was good. I was a pageant baby, you know. It's what I always wanted to do.
You see, and I'm getting different
reasons why people went in.
Yeah. What was your reason?
I always wanted to do it. I knew from the time that I could walk and talk that I was going to do Miss SVG.
And who are the queens that you looked up to?
Georgina. What is her name? Georgina Richardson. She was, oh my gosh, she sang for her talent and she had on like this flowing dress and it was like a Celine Dion and I was in this, I was like, oh, she's so great. Listen, I was an adult and she was my flight attendant on Liad and I was staring at her like, I was starstruck. Yeah, she for sure, Kim on for sure, because she worked at Singer. So for me, it was big as a kid to come in and see her there and then see her on stage. But I think those are probably the two biggest ones for me.
Okay. Yeah. And from there, you were like, nah, this is for me. This is for me.
I knew it. From the time I could walk and talk. So I promise you.
What was your talent?
I sang.
What did you sing?
I sang a medley of songs. If I had to go back and change what I did for my talent, I would change the songs that I did in the medley.
You remember them?
Yeah, vaguely. Vaguely.
My heart will go on this one.
No.
I don't know why it came to my
No. I feel like that's what Georgina sang.
I feel like that was a big song for All right. And then for the dress, you remember who the designer was?
My designer was a Trinidadian by the name of Heather Jones.
So the entire experience, you remember, like?
Absolutely.
You loved it that much?
I did.
So?
I would do it 1,000 times again.
Really?
Yeah, I'm telling you, listen, I used to be having pageants by myself at home as a kid. I was the 8th contestant. Even Miss Venezuela, I was on the stage and translating for myself.
That is crazy.
Yes, I was, it had to be done.
Okay. And then when you got thrown into the chaperone, what was that experience like?
It's a whole different ball game. I chaperoned Keith Miller for Miss Heritage.
Her name sounds familiar.
Yeah, Keith, she's a doctor now, actually.
Okay.
She just graduated. But I did her. She was a phenomenal child also. I fell in love with her as a human being. I remember having my baby and still going to make sure that she got her stuff organized. And then when they called me for Jada, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Because even sitting down looking at the picture, I was like, oh, like I want to help Jada. I want to, like, how do I reach out? And then they called me like days after. I was like, yes, let's do it.
So how did that win for you?
Oh, it felt great. Jada worked really hard. And I remember telling her, like, you have to cry. Like, you have to cry. Like, and the night before she cried, I was like, yeah. It's like, if you don't cry, you're not going to win.
So how come you didn't do the regional one? Or that would have been too much on your plate?
For who? Jada? It was too much.
Oh, okay.
It was coming off of Carnival last year, and I couldn't.
Yeah, I remember you in Carnival.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Zero.
Anything after Carnival, like I tend to tell people, and I told you, like I take a mental leave from the whole thing, from my social life, everything, just to kind of come down off of that a little bit.
Yeah, Karen tried to get me sick. I put in that on record. Yeah. Karen tried to get me sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're confessing? Because when I say that's what you're trying to do, you're like, no.
How did I try to get you
have a confession? Sick? Look into the camera and confess.
I have no confessions.
Okay. Cool. And earlier you brought up singer. So we all know you're a singer, baby. How did you get thrown into the
I didn't have a choice.
That's a push off.
that one is not a choice. So the thing is, my family's business. I was 16 in school, summer vacation, Christmas vacation. I was already in there working because my father believed that everything that you earn in life, you have to work for it. And he kind of threw my sister and I in there and taught us to work from the ground up. You have to know every inch of your business in order to lead. And so we are always very grateful for it, right? I could make reference to things that were done in the early 2000s that don't exist anymore. Things that you hear older employees mention, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I didn't have a choice. When I left school, I was adamant, okay, I'm not going to work here. I'm going to study governance and politics. but he's like, hey, what to do? Take a year off, work, and figure yourself out. And by the end of that year, I was like, all right, let's go.
So you did your bachelor's in governance?
No, in management. I was going to do governance and politics, but he was like, no, you're not. You're going to take a year. You're going to work. Figure yourself out, and then we'll see what you come up with next year.
So you see his vision now?
Absolutely. But university is the first time I did any type of business subject.
Oh. So what did you do in high school?
I did biology, chemistry, physics. In college, I did law, psychology, and IT.
Huge.
Yeah. So I was adamant. I was like, no, I'm not touching it. And then I did it business. UE is the first time I touch any type of business.
Yeah, because when I see you in singer, it looks like, yeah, I am. This legacy will continue.
Yeah, I'm trying. My son says he'll eventually be my boss. So I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you'll be the worker.
Make your peace with it.
Exactly. I'm good.
So let's see. That was Miss SVG. That was a singer. And last year, this year, you were announced as the marketer for Carnival Development.
Yeah, the marketing coordinator.
That was last year?
The announcement came this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is that post exactly?
I feel like I'm still feeling it out a little bit because I guess I was a little consumed with my own stuff. But I am ready to kind of dive into it fully right now. So there's a marketing executive at the CDC level, the office level, which is Ezzy. So he kind of bounces things off of me, and we work together to make sure that he gets little fresh ideas and so.
Okay, because there are things that I saw and I was like, looking more Karen than.
I'm not gonna take credit for it. I think people give him a hard time, but he is truly working really hard. For true.
I feel like I'm one of those people. When I was on radio, I was one of those people. I probably might have been guilty of it too. I might have been one of those people who kind of, looking from the outside in, not realizing the amount of work that he puts in, and it's him alone, trying to satisfy 110,000 opinions. Just this week, I was telling somebody, I cannot be a politician.
Neither me.
I can't, because I can't imagine. I'm speaking to people. I am looking at problems happening in my country, in my community. I imagine a policy, I put it in writing, I argue it, and the policy comes through. And people are like, nah, that's not what I want. And who are you to do that?
Yeah, who told you that this is what we wanted?
No, sorry. I can't do it. So I could understand what you're saying. Because you're putting in all the work, you're trying your best, and then Carnival comes around every radio station.
And it's so easy for us to sit back and be like, yeah, but why didn't do this? Why didn't do it this way? And there are ways and means of doing things. I remember last year, before I was on the board, I would call Carlos or Rodney, and I'd be like, hey, what could be a cool idea if we do X, Y, Z? And if you ask Carlos, he probably make reference like, yeah, Karen is one of those people who would have called and lend suggestions versus taking it to social media or taking it, to places that might embarrass them.
Yeah, but I think the difference is that you know them.
Maybe. No, I think there are people who just genuinely want to embarrass other people.
No, I think that's generally people feed off negativity most times because like even now with the visit from Vibes Cartel, I saw someone post, so we forgot about and someone in the comments says, so we're supposed to post here every single day.
Yeah.
I think it's easy for people to feed into the negative because I'm one of them. I was like, why isn't CDC doing this opposed to this, and why are they not doing that opposed to that? And then the more you get a different side of certain things, you're like, that's frustrating.
Yeah. But I do believe, honestly, that 2025 will be a very explosive carnival. I'm really excited about it.
You did it first.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think so. I think so.
You think you're going to take on a new event, create a new brand? You're just going to, what you have now, it's too draining.
I'm quite happy with what is already on my plate.
I think what a lot of people are curious about is oxygen. How did oxygen come to be?
Oxygen is my second child. That's what I always say. In 2017, I said, okay, I'm going to do a band. And everybody thought I was crazy because I really had no knowledge of it, of how to do it. 2017, 2018, 2019. Nothing 20, nothing 21. And then we did 22, 23, and 24. So this would be the 6th time that we're on the road. I have learned a business that I had no knowledge on in 6 tries. And it's at the point where I could look at a costume in another band and price it. I'm like, oh, this costs here, and they're making X amount on it, if they're making anything at all. Carnival has become so bittersweet for me because I listen to my counterparts in the other islands. Sorry, talk about how much like sponsorship they get, and St. Vincent is rough where sponsors are concerned.
But that is crazy to just be like, I'm going to start a band.
Yeah.
And I think the band has become you.
Yeah.
Where persons would be like, oh, I play in Oxygen. Why are you playing Oxygen, Karen?
Yeah. We try to take care of people and to make the experience a little personal. So,
and that's usually what I hear as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we try not to take away the personal aspect of the band. So my girls who would answer emails and DMs, they know masqueraders by first name, bra size, panty size. Like it is amazing to see people come in and they say, oh, hi, my name is such and such. And you'll see my girls like, oh, I'm the one who you were emailing. And they would, help them out.
And then there's stories of people who like, oh, you're on the road and they have a little mishap. And even you sometimes will come and assist, and you're the queen of the band, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And you would assist, and you hear stories like that, and I'm like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, I try to keep it personal so that people feel like they have a face to and a name to deal with when they have issues. It's like when you call a bank and it's an automated response, right? Like you feel like, oh gosh, they're just pushing me around, just pressing 1, 2, 1, 2. Versus if somebody actually answers the phone and you get to voice that problem ASAP.
You ever wake up one day and you're like, I created this. These are my brands and they will live on.
I just wake up some days and I'm like, oh God, why?
Why I do this?
Why? Yeah, man. It is on Carnival Tuesday this year, we had fireworks by Courthouse. And I looked up in the sky and I started to cry. So everybody had their flashlights and their phone out. And I am just now in a circle, just turning around, looking at everybody film this. And I'm like, wow. Like me and an amazing team of people created this.
I'm so happy for you. I don't know. I love when people have their child and they get to see their child grow.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's watching a child grow.
And it reminded me of your high school speech. How did you feel when you got that call?
Oh my gosh, I was screaming. I was real screaming. Honestly, that was a big moment for me.
How long did it take you to put it together?
It took me a while. My best friend Keisha, she sat with me and she's like, okay, no, change this. And yeah, this sound good. And she was like, one of my biggest cheerleaders. My dad was big on it too. My friends, like, Well, listen, it was a big deal for me.
I think it was a big deal because everywhere I turned that day on social media,
It was a
people
big
were
deal.
reposting like, "Oh my God."
It was a big deal for
And
me.
I think that is why you need to confess.
Yeah.
What did you post in people's drinks? Why people love you so much?
I put love, Harry.
There's no one that was like, nah, I don't mess with Karen.
I mean, listen, I'll tell you what. Growing up, I never felt I didn't feel this love from random people, you know. I feel like people kind of looked at me and they were like, "Oh, this little privilege,
Hmm.
you know, girl, and she have it easy and gold spoon." But now people have seen me grind. Exactly what you're saying, where masqueraders are having mishaps on the road and I'm the one helping them. They would come in for distribution. Take this year, for example. We had to push out 1,600 costumes in 3 days because of Beryl. So whereas I had that lined up from on a 6-day, we now had to condense it into 3 days. And here I am on the ground in there, running, sweating, picking up costumes, handing it for people, and people seeing me do the groundwork. It kind of changes their perception of who I am. So I'm no longer a little privileged girl who, you know, has been handed everything, but I am seen as a hardworking person. And I think people could relate to hardworking people because even if they themselves are not hardworking, they admire somebody in that household who's hardworking, their mother, their father, it could be the oldest sibling. You know, so it makes me a little more identifiable, I guess.
Okay. That is cool. And now Wett Republic. How did Wett Republic come about?
Wett Republic was, I don't know, just four heads come together and say, yeah, let's do this thing.
The interesting thing is, sometimes when people do events, you don't really see them. You would see them on stage. But for events, I don't even remember how we met. But I remember when I just came home, I went to Secret Garden and you were there. Like, if someone wanted to interact with you, they can because you were right there.
For sure.
Wett Republic, you were right there at the gate, the first
day. Because it was a mess. But yeah.
Well, how does that feel? Doesn't that get overwhelming? Because those are large crowds.
I don't think it gets overwhelming. Or maybe I grew with the event. Maybe if these were my first events and they hitting these numbers, then maybe the anxiety for sure. But I kind of, like I said, climax was 600 people and we moved from that up to how much ever thousands, you know? So the growth of the events is, I guess, my growth.
But you know, right? Usually when people have that level of success, there is always some sort of element, if it's not in their professional life, it's in their personal life, that tends to, I don't know, like overshadow it or something. But you don't have that. So how do you manage to?
How you know?
Because I am from the outside looking in.
Yeah, you see? So maybe
I have not seen anything on social media that says, oh, and Karen is in this, not on social media. Well, if it is, it's happening in your household. It's not happening for everybody to see. How do you manage to separate it? That's the question.
My brain is very compartmentalized. Like even me and Skinny, take me and Skinny for example. We could be on the phone right now and cuss out, stink about something oxygen, right? Stink cuss out. And then say, anyways, so where are you? What are you doing? So when you're finished here, what are you going to do? But it's just a compartment. It's like having departments in your brain to deal with different things. But there are times that it kind of gets cloudy. Me as a mom, you know, dealing with my son, and he's still young. So he still requires a bit of attention. Dealing with that and then dealing with masqueraders or dealing with somebody who says something on Twitter and then trying to tame it a little bit in an email, and it gets a little muddy, but I try to keep it all separate.
Twitter is a space that I don't use because there's a lot of negativity on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't
So
use
when you see it or your team sees it, is it the manager in you or the marketer in you that says, okay, let me try to deal with this problem?
It's the manager for sure. And it is also the big sister in me that would tell my team, we don't have to respond to everything. And you cannot be upset with people for their opinions on something.
I remember how we met now.
How was that?
Jamie's brunch.
Right.
Birthday
Yeah.
party. That is how we met, yes. You're like, your name sounds
Your name sounds so
familiar.
familiar. Yes, the Irish Shaw.
Your name sounds very familiar. Simone is like, you don't know Irish? Like, no. Where would I know it from?
I was watching this. I was Googling it too. Because I was watching some show on Netflix. And the last name was Shaw, no? But
you said that. You said that.
That's what it was.
I don't Google, man. I don't like what pops up when you Google.
And you said that to me too.
Yes, I do that.
What happens when you Google?
No Google, nothing. No Google. This is a no phone studio. No phones allowed. But I do think it's really cool that you're able to separate it.
I try.
What I'm curious about is, so we know how the management came about. We know how pageantry came about.
Yes.
We know how the event planning came about.
Yeah.
How did the marketing you come?
I thought you was going to ask me how the baby came about. I was about to tell you. Well, you know.
What do you call the birds and the bees?
The marketer, I don't know. I guess it's natural ability. You know.
I feel like it comes with event planning.
Maybe.
I think it's a lot easier.
When I was in UE, I did most of my electives in marketing.
Really?
Yes.
Were you able to do a double major?
No, because they weren't offering it. And then they started offering in my final year, which meant that I would have to do an extra year. And I was ready to come home. Yeah.
I remember I wanted to do one in journalism and marketing, or at least advertising. And my college was like, oh, we don't do minors in the same college. What stupid rule is that?
Right.
You don't do minors in the same college. So I thought it was that.
You studied in Taiwan? Nice. So you speak Mandarin? Really?
Yes, I do.
That's pretty awesome.
Just a tiny bit. It's a very frustrating language, it is.
Is it? These sounds are similar? Like different words sound similar?
Yeah. So like there is sh, which has probably 400, 500 meanings. No, you're laughing. There's an entire poem I could show you later. It's a lion sitting on the rock. I can't remember. But it is literally sh. So
is it your tone of voice that makes it different?
Yeah, so in Chinese there are 4 tones.
Right.
There's E, E. Yeah. And sorry. So like sh is or are. Sh is 10. Sh is time, like shijian. Sh is
So what is sh?
So many different things.
Clearly, I was trying to
it's so yeah. So Chinese, and then you can't think in English too. You can't translate from English. You have to think in Chinese to speak in Chinese.
Right.
And it took me a year to learn, and that was very frustrating.
But you learned it.
Yeah, I'm okay.
There you go.
People like Kenton, when they start speaking, I was like,
he's away. Like, I'm going to get someone.
Is that a phone call? Yeah. But another thing that you keep private is your love life.
I do.
So,
maybe I don't have one. Dum. These stories and more.
and these are their stories. Dun, dun, dun. So the birds and the bees created your most beautiful brand.
My son.
I have seen you interact with your son, and it is a beautiful thing.
We go for dates. We go on dates. Our most recent was 2 nights ago.
Really?
Yeah.
You went to Barbados?
What?
Like, it's my son. No expense, I'll be sure.
No, we didn't go to Barbados.
you went to Italy.
I
need to stop with my foolishness. But yes, is it that you've killed all your partners? I said no. Off the record dateline.
If I tell you, I have to kill you too, bruh.
That's why you tried to get me sick, because I was getting close to the truth. And okay, all right, it is no.
Harry, I don't have answers to these questions that you ask.
I don't know the answers, Sway. I don't know the answers.
I don't.
But Now that you know that you're someone that is you are a public figure and you are a motivation to a lot of people, how does it feel and what advice would you have for people who are interested or who see you as a role model and want to be more like you?
I think being a role model just kind of came. Of course, growing up, you want to become somebody who people could look up to, but assuming the role just kind of came. I didn't think at 37 that I would be a grown person. Like in my head, I'm a big kid, you know. But Jada would call me a woman. Like, yeah, I really like this woman. I was like, what? I'm a
A
girl.
lot of Karen is a girl's girl. I love Karen.
Yeah. But you know, you just kind of have to be true to yourself, be true to who you are, and do things with the kindness of your heart. And that's what I tell you, that all I give is love. And once you give that, the only thing you will get back is love.
So now at 37,
Yeah.
what's left for you to accomplish?
So much. I still have to continue to raise Kieran to be the best version of himself. And I think that is the biggest role that I have in the next coming years. He's 9, and I have to make sure that he goes through those teenage years without straying, you know, into paths that I don't want him to. And once we get past that hurdle and he blooms into the amazing man that I want him to be, then my next thing would be accomplished. As far as events, etc., I feel like I get a little old, and only because you know you kind of have to stay current and hip, so you kind of need to know the trends. And yesterday, my cousin was taking a picture, and she goes, "Oh, you're trying to see how Gen Z takes pics, you know?" Because she would think that I'm old, but I'm getting a little tired.
It's not very cutesy of her.
It's not very demure. It's not very cutesy.
But I'm curious, and we are off the record. So with all the accolades and with all the experiences that you've had, what do you think is the most memorable, or who was the most memorable person that you've met?
I don't know. I've met so many people because of Skinny, for sure. I don't know. Everybody's pretty amazing.
Yeah, like a political answer. Like,
it is. I don't know for you. Who's the most amazing person I've ever met? I don't know. I met AJ like 2 weeks ago.
Who's AJ?
AJ from 106 and Park. Right? So I was like, AJ, wow.
How?
Because I was backstage at a show in Barbados and he was right there and they introduced me. They're like, oh, this is AJ. I was like, AJ, I'm a fan.
What is?
Yeah.
106 and Park continue? No.
I felt like 13 again looking at 106 and Park. Like he looks exactly like what he looked like on TV. So that's my most recent.
And like event planning, what would you say is the most memorable event planning moment you had? Well, you did say this year with the fireworks, but outside of that?
Fireworks with Oxygen was good. Transforming community college into an event space was big.
Tell me about that.
We took the courtyard and built an event out of it, and everybody was like, wow, we can't believe that space was utilized in that way.
I think it was very creative.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you've seen like the auditorium area used for different things, for like pasta and different stuff. But to see Secret Garden function as a full, and I don't think it's been done again.
Yeah, no, I don't think they would let it be done again, to be honest with you.
As a tactic, let me do something that they're going to say, nah, so I'm the only person that did it. Right? But that was was this year, last year?
That was this year.
Christmas.
By this year I mean
Christmas. That was a very, very nice event. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
It was spacious, but it still felt like one.
Yes, I didn't have problem getting drinks. Didn't have problem buying bottles. That was a really nice event.
Thank you. From me and my team.
You're welcome. Shout out to you and your team. Shout out to Karen Veira. Every time I see a name now, I see it looks like a signature.
Yes, and it has the brand underneath.
Really? So proud. So very proud.
Very demure.
Very cutesy. Very mindful. Very, very, very mindful. Well, it was really a pleasure speaking to you.
Yeah, likewise. See, next time, I won't take so long. You know, when you call me, I'm like, boom, let's do it. You need a little co-host sometimes. You call me.
Hey, we're documenting that. You said, if you need a little co-host sometimes, you call me, Karen Veira. At 497.
I would take giving up my
your numbers even
49
that
for sure.
Crazy.
Right?
I was calling around. I don't know anybody. Someone. I do not know. And if my phone is taken away, I'm doomed.
I only know people's number when it's an emergency. Like if I need to know it right now, I will know
911.
But like ordinarily, if I'm just trying to shout you up to be like, hey, I don't know it.
That's crazy as adults. We need to work on that. We really need to work on that. But it has been Off the Record with Karen Veira. It's been a pleasure to have you, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
You were very cute, and you were very demure.
Thank you.